Alrighty, guys, we're back for Agency Angels, and this is a Murders at Karlov Manor standard to brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. This one is based around Errant and Giada, 3 mana, 2/3 with flash and flying. It is in fact a legendary creature. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast spells with flash or flying from the top of your library. That actually seems relatively decent. We do have a lot of cards in here with flying, of course, but we also have some cards with flash, like this new Lost in the Maze. This is X and double blue. Hopefully we don't get held up on that double blue too often. It's an enchantment with flash. As it ETBs, you tap X target creatures, and then you put a stun counter on each of those creatures you don't control. Okay. Then tapped creatures you control have hexproof. And like that doesn't just like, that's not for one turn. Like the creatures you tap get hexproof. That's just on the enchantment. Tapped creatures you control have hexproof, which is actually really neat, isn't it? I'm interested to see how much this actually does today. We do have some more new cards, No More Lies. This is a 2 mana instant speed rocking those Azorius colors up there. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. Okay. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. I am shocked that we have not seen more of this since the set released, huh? Might as well finish going over the 2 mana spots here. We got a couple Soul Partitions. Yep, I do think this is excellent removal, and I do actually think that this deck would be plugging enough damage through to say take something out of the equation for a couple turns, and then in those couple turns, we actually end up just wrapping up the game before the opponent does it again anyways. But then also, if you're bouncing it with that Soul Partition, which it isn't a bounce, it is an exile target non-land permanent, maybe when they cast it again for 2 more, you just drop like the counter spell, No More Lies, which sounds pretty brutal actually. But yeah, opting for a little bit of tempo removal then. Of course, Giada, Font of Hope had to make the cut. Even though it's legendary, I do think all 4 of them is going to be necessary for this build. 2 mana, 2/2, flying, vigilance. Each other angel you control enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it for each angel you already control, which is absolutely disgusting as it is. But then also, you can tap it to add a white mana, spend this mana only to cast an angel spell. Okay, yep, Giada, Font of Hope is a terrific angel. The best angel, actually, probably, right? I don't know if there would be much argument about that, especially the best angel in this build, at least. Might as well finish going over the front of the build while we're here, huh? Cogwork Wrestler is a 1 mana, 1/2 artifact creature. That's important for this build. It does have flash. That's important for this build, right? Because of the Errant and Giada. And then when it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls gets -2/-0 until end of turn. Again, opting just for, I guess, kind of sort of a little tempo play. You never know if you're going to go a -2/-0 and then have a successful block with the Wrestler too, because that flash could actually do a lot and maybe act as kind of sort of a combat trick. But then, I said being an artifact in here matters. Well, we do have something here on the top end. Ezrim, Agency Chief. This is a 5 mana, 5/5 with flying legendary creature. It is unfortunately not an angel though, which breaks my heart because boy oh boy would it be perfect in here if it was an angel. However, I still opted for 2 of them though. So when Ezrim, Agency Chief enters the battlefield, you investigate twice, so you get a couple clue tokens. And then for 1 mana, you can sacrifice an artifact. Ezrim gains your choice of Vigilance, Lifelink, or Hexproof until end of turn. So a great way to potentially protect itself as well. A really neat card, man, and I actually don't think it's going to be too hard to get down. We'll see if the 2 of ends up holding us up at all, huh? Okay, what else do we got in here, guys? Couple Wandering Emperors for more just terrific removal. Just like, I mean, do we got to go over Wandering Emperor? Probably not. It's a terrific card, and since it has flash, it totally works with the Errant and Giada, which, by the way, of course, the flying on the Agency Chief works with the Errant and Giada too, right? So that's another reason to have that in here. Now, we do have some more new cards. Aurelia's... Something like that. Vindicator. It's a 4 mana, 4/2 flying lifelink. Ward 2. Nice. It has a disguise cost for X, a 3, and a white. So you can totally play this as a 3 mana card. It would be a 2/2 with Ward 2. Okay. And then you can turn it face up anytime for its disguise cost, which is X, 3, and a white. When it's turned face up, you exile up to X other target creatures from the battlefield and or creature cards from graveyards too. And then when Vindicator leaves the battlefield, you return the exiled cards not to the battlefield, to the owner's hands. So that's actually really neat, huh? So if you end up disguising this out, this is pretty expensive overall, by the way, right? If you disguise this out on turn 3, and then on turn 4, you flip this over, that's still X is 0, unfortunately, right? So it's going to be a couple turns. It would be very much like mid-game tempo where like you actually get to 6 mana, and then you go X is 2, flip this, maybe exile 2 of the opponent's creatures with it. And then what's really nice is when the opponent removes this, those creatures don't just spam back onto the battlefield. They go back into their hand and potentially just more ways to counter them with no more lives or something too. But that is so much mana. Mainly it's in here because it's a 4 mana, 4/2, flying, lifelink, ward 2. And I think the ward 2 kind of sets that over the edge for me, where I actually just really like this creature. I want to see how much it actually does today too. Another great thing that works with the Ezrim is actually going to be this Wojek Investigator. This is a 3 mana, 2/4 Angel Detective. It has flying and vigilance, and at the beginning of your upkeep, investigate once for each opponent who has more cards in hand than you. So obviously it says each opponent, and unfortunately we'll only have one opponent, but still, if the opponent ends up having more cards, we get a little clue, and potentially like we can use that clue to draw some cards, so we could try to keep up pace with their hand, or we could use that clue for the Ezrim's bottom ability to maybe give it hexproof, and like giving this hexproof against something like mono black could be absolutely huge for us. So, and you could do this multiple times too. You could totally spend some mana, sacrifice multiple artifacts, give it like lifelink and hexproof for the turn, for example, and get that lifelink going through in the air. Sounds pretty wild, huh? You have Steel Seraph here with that prototype cost being 1 in double white, of course. It's a 3/3 at prototype. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gains your choice of flying, vigilance, or lifelink. Very powerful creature, guys. Also, you could totally cast it at its 6 mana cost as a 5/4 with flying as well. And all that could be pretty neat. Is that everything already, guys? No, we actually have more on the top end that I totally skipped. We got Boon-Bringer Valkyrie as a 1/of, has that backup 1, and then it has flying, first strike, lifelink. That backup could really go a long way, huh? And the first strike too, honestly. A lot on this card does a lot. So I like this as a 1/of. Same thing with Sanctuary Warden, another potential way to go ahead and restock our hand as well. So 6 mana, 5/5 with flying. When it enters the battlefield, comes in with those 2 shield counters on it. And when it enters the battlefield or attacks, you may remove a counter from a creature or planeswalker you control. If you do, you draw a card and create a 1/1 green and white citizen creature token. So it does say or planeswalker, so you could totally remove some counters off of like your Wandering Emperors or something too. So those will pair nicely together. Over in the mana base, guys, of course, Seat of the Empire, Soaring City, we have a split between plains and islands, leaning towards those plains because that's what the deck is heavily leaning towards here. 26 total mana. Oh my goodness. And we are opting for the Wastes here, so some pain land, which I don't think is going to hold us up too much because we do have a lot of ways for lifelink in here. Got Deserted Beach and then a bunch of tapped land with Restless Anchorage, unfortunately. No like Plaza of Heroes or anything this time around. And the reason I'm opting for all 4 Restless Anchorage is because I just think it's like a terrific land, and I don't think this particular tapped land is going to hold up this particular deck. You know what I mean? So we'll see, though. We'll see. We'll see if I end up bringing that up in the final thoughts. Some honorable mentions over here. I don't think this is a Cavern of Souls style of angel build, so it didn't make the cut this time. I must have put the coast over here to remind me to talk about the fact that we do have the pain lands, and yeah, hopefully the pain land doesn't end up hurting us too much, especially early on against like mono red or something. So coast is something to think about, but I think it's going to often come out tapped because we often want to get 4 to 5 mana on the board, like pretty much every game, right? You want to get into that mid game, so no coast this time. Feels super weird not building around like Archangel of Wrath since it's so powerful, dude. But yeah, the kicker costs just don't fit this particular build. And then Inspiring Overseer is a terrific card and a great budget trade out. It's only a common, dude. Overseer is a very powerful angel. All right, guys, enough rambling. You know what I just noticed? I got to change the cosmetics. 1 second, guys. Okay, there we go. All right, let's go ahead, take this build into some ranked and see how we do. Okay, we'll see if we can get right into that first game here. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? I actually think it's going to be good, man. I don't know. Been getting this vibe recently, the last couple weeks of the builds I've been putting together. Like, I'm usually pretty hesitant, and like sometimes I land somewhere in the middle where I'm just like, oh, I have no idea. But I actually think it's going to be decent. We'll see. We'll see. This is a good hand. I like this hand. Opponent goes first, unfortunately. I still think we keep this, man. We got all the mana we need for this particular hand. Uh-oh, red against mono red. And they went first, bro. Okay, well, we gotta go fast. Giada is gonna get burnt away in no time. Luckily, well, hopefully we have some good... Nothing? Oh, Rakdos. Oh, Picnic Ruiner. Okay. Well, lucky us. Well, Giada still probably gets burnt away, though, right? Wrestler's not bad. I think it would be really silly of me not to try the Giada, right? I think so. Like, we could keep Wrestler, maybe get a good block in, but I think it would be really silly not to try. Lost in the Maze could be really good here, actually. Take some pain damage. X would only be 1 for now. It's very much, a lot of the stuff in here is very much mid-game removal, so against a fast build, we could be in a lot of trouble. And in the early game, we're trying to just kind of do tempo things. Wow, okay, right into an antagonize. They're like, well, you want to keep Giada around, you're going to take 12 damage. That's what the opponent says here. We got a chump, bro. That's a chump, huh? Because that's like one of the big things their deck's trying to do, and they're trying to give trample, and they missed the monstrous rage, so that's good. Still worth, it might have been a risky block to some of you guys, but I think that was still worthwhile. No More Lies is terrific. We're actually going to keep that open with the Wrestler as well, and also Errant and Giada too. So we'll see what ends up happening here. These decks can be incredibly explosive, but I gotta be real with you guys. I felt a little bit of relief knowing that it wasn't just generic mono red, you know what I mean? So let's see what the opponent ends up doing. Okay, so we're gonna, they don't give the double strike to the Ruiner. We're gonna go ahead and get the Wrestler down. I'm gonna block that Scamp while we can and see what happens over here. Because we go minus, then we block the Scamp, get it out of the equation. Right? So that way, wait. Yeah, we didn't want them, well. We could have done that to the Picnic Ruiner, blocked the Scamp, and then their ping on the Wrestler wouldn't have done anything, right? So I didn't completely think that line of play through, but now they don't get any damage with the Scamp, but we would have prevented 2 damage on the Ruiner. Okay, so definitely something to consider there. They do have the 3 to play around the No More Lies. So, and nothing else from them for the turn. Okay, well, at that point, I guess we just get our lifelink creature down, right? That's probably okay to do. 1, 2. We go Lost Maze now. I think this is totally fine. Flying lifelink ward to keep all of our blockers back, because you never know when they're just going to go so explosive that they just have like 18 damage or something ridiculous. Yeah, so hopefully it doesn't come down to 1, because we could have prevented 1 extra. We could have been at 14 right now, so... We also could have attempted the counter on this, but they would have easily paid the 3, so I don't think that would have been worthwhile. Because we would have taken 1 from the wastes too. If they want to go ward 2 on that, it's actually not bad. They end up tapping out a bunch, and we still have some decent blocks here. Yeah, we still block the Scamp well enough and trade into it. None of that's particularly bad. I think we slowed them down a lot here. Do they take out Wrestler or hit face? Take out Wrestler. Okay. I'm feeling okay right now. Another land, get the Callous Sellsword down as a 4/4. Very nice opponent. No More Lies, just chilling. This happens to me a lot when I play counter spells. Just like never know when to actually play it. So Lost in the Maze is probably the play, but if we can get a successful block on Swift Spear off the Errant and Giada, depending on what they do, then we might just go for that. But I don't think so, not yet. And keeping No More Lies open too. Literally keeping everything open in our hand. Let's see what they end up seeing. Yeah, we slowed them down pretty good. All right, they're not playing anything. They're going into the attack step. So let's go Lost in the Maze. Down to 10. Tap their creatures, put stun counters on them. So they don't untap next turn, guys. That's pretty good for us, man. Giada. I think we get that down. We have everything else in hand open. Okay. Pass it back, right? Those don't untap. It's a pretty good tempo. Anyone's game? Like, we're not putting any pressure on right now, unfortunately. Which is why it's anyone's game for sure. All right. Errant and Giada coming down. They got a ton of mana open. I'm pretty sure they're going to play around this No More Lies for a while. A Plains off the top. Well, that's not something you want to see at all. Okay, well, I mean, we have Soul Partition. We could swing with Anchorage and keep 2 open for our removal or the No More Lies. Full swing. Giada does have Vigilance if there's an emergency. Right? So now we do have to put the pressure on, I think. We also get a map token for next turn, I suppose. Soul Partition hitting the Callous Sellsword doesn't sound great because then they'll get that other ability. But, I mean, so Plains next turn, hopefully we just see something that we can actually play off the Errant and Giada. This was a great first game to showcase the deck, though. The deck totally doing the thing, I suppose, right? Fugitive Codebreaker. They have the No More Lies easily, so it's probably going to be still going to be Soul Partition for the turn. Yeah, they pay that 3, no worries, and then we're kind of in trouble. What's left in hand, I wonder? Go for the swing. The prowess isn't terrible to hit with the Soul Partition. Like, Callous Sellsword, it's just a really bad hit, isn't it? But everything else they end up playing anyways. We still don't... It's not like we'll have the open mana for the No More Lies. It's like, it's a little awkward, but I think this is okay. And then that's 3 coming through. Or they could pay 3 for a burn together. If we end up blocking here, they could... Actually, the burn together might end up killing the Giada anyways. So I think we risk the block. I think Giada might be a goner, regardless. So we risk the block, we risk that last card, we see what ends up happening here. And what the block ends up doing is just taking less damage to us. Okay, they go Rage. Oh, Prowess gets around. Prowess gets around that. Dude, we're in trouble, man. Hold on, I did not think that through either. Good game, opponent. Good game. All right, wait, hold on. So if they played, hold on, guys. Oh, wait. Don't blame the deck there. Blame me for sure. We got to talk about this, right? Because first of all, that last card in hand, first of all, that could have been a monstrous rage, give trample anyways. We would have died. But because I bounced the Callous Sellsword and they had enough mana to do the burn together anyways, if the last card in their hand was something to buff the prowess, then we were going to die that turn. Like, that was 110% my fault. So what would have been better? No More Lies just not doing anything against the Codebreaker. Chumping the Callous Sellsword. Depending on what they had in hand there. That was just a super risky play, man. I should not have bounced the Calisel Sword, because as soon as they buff that to 5, then they just chuck it to our face. Oops. I'm sorry, guys. That was pretty silly, huh? That was... Were we in trouble anyway? Well, I don't know. I don't know about that one, man. I don't know. At some point, I needed to play that counterspell a little bit earlier too, right? Because they just had so much mana by the time we actually could have played it. I don't know. It's tough. A couple tough decisions in that match. But I don't think I'd blame the deck at all, which is actually good news. I'd much rather blame myself than the build. I take much more pride in the builds than I do with how I play the game. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it can keep up pace. Hey, a fellow red player, I see. Oh, it's gonna be Rafine's Tower. That's funny. Okay, we could keep No More Lies open quite successfully here. Maybe we'll actually play it this time around, huh? Nope, they pass it back. We're going to go right into an attempted Steel Seraph prototype. It lands. Very nice. Doesn't get picked up by Go for the Throat, which is good news. Fateful Absence is a vibe I get. Soul Partition. Hey. See, I've been playing a lot more Soul Partition recently just because I feel like it's been working out for me. So it's nice to see other people playing it as well. Jace is probably a problem. Mana off the top would obviously be great, but like, again, when do we keep this No More Lies open? Our 4th Steel Seraph, I suppose we attempt one of those just like every turn for a little while and see what ends up happening. So first of all, -3, -0 brings it right down to 0, but like what else were we going to do outside of keeping the No More Lies open? Land off the top wouldn't be bad because Vindicator would be good. Okay, 26 mana in here. We should be able to hit that 4th in time. Before combat. Wait. We could totally play this as a 2/2 with Ward. Maybe we do that instead of Steel Seraph. Probably not. Probably not. Let's attempt Steel Seraph before combat, see what happens. Okie dokies. So we'll go ahead and give you Vigilance, give you Lifelink. And it is a 0/0. I'm not even going to be swinging with it, especially since this could be a Seat of the Empire. Jace is a problem, and now that we have 2 creatures, they just need to remove one and then go -3, -0 on the other one. So we're in desperate need of more mana off the top here for the next couple turns in a row. I kept a pretty expensive hand, didn't I? But I didn't mind it at the time. Especially if we were up against a aggro or something. I think that the Steel Seraph would have been decent. However, Lightning Strike exists, right? So opponent is thinking maybe they're actually having trouble with these Steel Seraphs, huh? Because maybe they do have some Go for the Throats in hand. We just like casually play our last Steel Seraph next turn too. If we don't see mana. If we see mana, then getting a Ward 2 creature down is much better. Although now we're, once again, late enough in the match where they could just go for the Throat, pay the 2 for the Ward 2, but then we get to keep a couple Steel Seraphs potentially. Or we just get so much power on the board and they just drop Sunfall, right? So we definitely want to consider playing around Sunfall here. Okay, well, opponent's letting the timer run down. I can only imagine their turn consists of plussing the Jace, and then when we swing with the other Steel Seraph, like maybe a Wandering Emperor would be really good for them too. They have the mana open for it. That's it. Passes on back. I hope the opponent's still here. Yeah, I hope the opponent's still here. I am going to actually save the No More Lies to counter the Wandering Emperor when it comes time. Completely try to play around this. Actually, we could just go Vigilance on both of these too. But I'm not going to, because maybe we can actually bait the Wandering Emperor out of hand. Uh-oh, guys. Kind of feels like the opponent's not here. I mean, I know they ran down the timer, but sometimes they pop back up, but it kind of feels like they froze or something. Well, I'll go ahead and pause the video until they show up again. The opponent, unfortunately, did not show up, guys. We'll go Vigilance, Lifelink. We'll swing Vigilance at Jace, Lifelink to face, and see if the opponent ends up showing up for the last little bit here. Unfortunately, it doesn't feel like they're going to be showing up. I'm just going to play Vindicator. Totally fine. See, nothing stuck, passes right back to them. And I will go ahead and pause the recording again and see if they show up. The opponent, unfortunately, did not show up, guys. Kind of feels like they froze, unfortunately, which definitely sucks. But yeah, you know what? I think that was probably going to start leaning towards them. I don't think this particular hand in our mid-range build over here was going to be solid enough to get around just like full-blown control. Which I guess we don't know what all was in the opponent's build, but still, I do think that was going to start pulling ahead in their favor as we're just constantly running face first into Sunfalls and all that nonsense. Although we did have a potentially terrific counter on like a Wandering Emperor or something, which could have been enough potentially. You never know, and maybe they missed their 5th mana or something too. So, but hey, man. I guess overall, I'll take the victory because they're really hard to come by sometimes. Okay, no double white in hand. Oh, these are pretty slow, man. Eee. Opponent goes first. This is a mulligan for sure. Okay. We keep 6 and unfortunately ditch our 4-drop. I'd love to see this Vindicator actually do something today though, but like without a guarantee, like 26 mana, sure, but without a guarantee of seeing the 4th, without a guarantee of seeing the 3rd at this rate, huh? Better get that blue source down for the potential wrestler when it comes time. Okay. Okay. I'm going to keep Wrestler back. I'm not 100% certain what we want to do with Wrestler, but okay, in desperate need of seeing that 3rd source off the top here next turn. Going to be a Deduce. Get that Investigate going, huh? Nice. Hey, maybe Deduce should have been in the honorable mentions for this Ezrim. Come on, 3rd mana off the top. I believe in you. I'm not entirely sure why I'm holding this Wrestler back, but I'm still going to do it. Oh, no. Okay. Okay. Awkwardly passing it back to the opponent here. Uh-oh. Get that clue. So they draw 1 off the Deduce, and since we didn't do anything that turn to counter, they draw another 1. Actually seems pretty good, doesn't it? We have 4 open now. Okay, what the heck? I'll get the Wrestler down now. Not sure what I was holding it back for, but like, yeah, like any amount of counters or removal, no worries for the Wrestler. There's our 3rd. It's a tapped land. Womp womp. Soul Partition is probably not great against a Wandering Emperor. If we swing with the Wrestler, they just go ahead, drop a 2/2. Go Soul Partition the token. That's not great either. It's like no swing. Well, playing around a Ghost potentially too. 5th mana comes down. Not a great board to drop Sunfall against, that's for sure. They pass it back. Okay. Hey, there's our mana. Now we're rolling, guys. All right, and we pass it back. Still no swing, right? Because I don't know why they'd be holding Wandering Emperor. Right? They want that engine to get rolling as soon as possible, but it still kind of just feels like there's no point in attacking for 1 damage right now. Right? It kind of just feels that way. So Errant and Giada has Flash, which is why we pass it back. And they probably just pass it right on back too, because they're looking for a great counter. This is one of the great counters. Luckily, we have 2 of these. And untap source off the top might mean Ezrim comes down, which we do have the open artifact. No. Nope. It does take mana to actually activate that too. No more lies. They have 3 mana open. Steel Seraph is pretty good. If we pass it back, they have a chance of drawing more counter spells, but let's be real, it's probably already in their hand anyways. Swing with Restless Anchorage, run into like a Seat of the Empire #2, which is a possibility in control decks for sure. Okay, I think we attempt Investigator on our turn. See if it lands. That's another quality counter for sure. Also, no more lies. Nice. When I went over the deck, didn't I say I'm surprised we haven't seen more of this? Okay, we can get that successful swing in now too. Well, hopefully. Don't tell me, bro. 1 mana? No, Elspeth's mine. I ran right into it, guys. I was like, oh man, they only have 1 mana. Let's get that swing. Let's get that artifact that 1 damage through. That's rough business, dude. Jace comes down. Yeah, when I was going over the deck, didn't I say like, hey, why don't we see no more lies? Like, why is no one playing with this? And there we are. The opponent has a control build that I'm terrified of. Even if we saw our mana in the proper order, we'd still be in a really like tough spot here, I'd say. And like, here we go, more mana. All right. Now just hold your horses, opponent. You don't gotta counter the next thing I play, okay? Everything will be fine. If we, okay, if we pass it back and they untap and we have Errant and Giada as a flash and they counter it, like they could draw into a counter because already no more lies, 2 of them chilling in the grave. Is it just better to play something on our turn? If we do that, they go plus -3 on the Steel Seraph. So it's still better, unfortunately, to do things on their turn, keep the Soul Partition open. And then their plus might not hit anything here then, is the thought process. But Errant and Giada is still just a 2/3, so the Jace is still going to be chilling for a little while. That's tough, man. That's tough. They actually go -2 and have us mill. So we might be able to take out that Jace with the attack on the Errant. So that's how much mana they've milled us so far, huh? I wouldn't mind any of that mana in hand. Like, there's a good reason we have 26 mana in here, you know what I mean? Very mana hungry, a lot of 3-drops we need to get down all the time. I'm not sure how many turns we missed the mana. It was only like 2, right? And then unfortunately the land that we saw was tapped land. Swinging with the Restless Anchorage wouldn't have been the play either, I'd say. A little bit of ramp with the Iron Crag. Not like they need it right now, but they must figure... Oh. Okay. Did they just lose a white source over there? My apologies, opponent. I'm taking forever, bro. Alright, we have 2 open to play around a Make Disappear, but not 3 open to play around another No More Lies. So, if it is a 3rd No More Lies, then... Uh-oh. You know? But then... Okay. Hey! Investigator on top. Oh, we're going to draw that, though. I'm going to say, hey, we might get some value with this. Get lost. Aw, man. Could bounce it back. Totally could. Soul Partition. No, that's not good, is it? Is it? Is it? No, because they could drop like a huge Planeswalker that we have trouble getting rid of. And like Soul Partition could at least get rid of it for a couple turns, maybe. Probably not, though. They have so much mana. A couple map tokens is good. We just don't have that 1 open for the Agency Chief yet. With only 3 open from the opponent, we attempt the Restless Anchorage. And what the heck, man? I might as well spend that last mana on the map, see what's on top. Hey, some land. Dude, nice. Should I do it again? Let's do it again. All right. Hey, some land. Let's go. Get that Jace out of here, dude. Oh no. Elspeth Smite probably again, right? Worth the risk? Probably. Get the, we do get the map. So we get planes down. We'll have one open for the Ezrim to sacrifice the map if we want to go hexproof for one turn, but then we're quickly running out of artifacts here. So I could have kept one of the extra maps back. Okay, there we go. Now we're seeing the mana. So a counter on this would be huge for the opponent. We also have Sanctum Warden. They've already run out 2 of their counter spells. I say we risk it, bro. I think it's all risky at this point. I think it's all incredibly risky. So like we just got to keep trying to slam things onto this board state. And like we actually still have a good amount of value. Intrude on the Mind. 5 mana, instant speed. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library and you separate them into 2 piles. Opponent chooses one of the piles. Put that pile into your hand and the other into your graveyard. Create a 0/0 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Then, so choose a pile to put into the opponent's hand. Then put +1/+1 counter on it for each card put into your graveyard this way. Okay, that's interesting. So if we put this, no more lies in both piles, dude. Oh no. Oh no. It's gonna eat the counter then. That's rough, man. Okay, well, I guess we choose pile number 2 because Jace number 2 isn't too bad. Either way, they just dropped the no more lies on the Ezrim. They have a 3/3 Thopter now too. Dude, seeing the count, seeing all 4 no more lies was pretty huge for the opponent this game, I'd say. All of them hitting their mark really nicely. Well, not the 4th one. One of them went to the grave, right? But all 3 that they played hit their marks really nicely. At this point, maybe Sanctuary Warden actually has a chance of getting onto this board. It does not play around Sunfall, but the shield counters do play around some other things. Okay, so we go Plains. Actually, seeing the mana we need was pretty huge for us, I'd say. At some point, Investigator might get us more clues. Soul Partition could totally hit this Thopter if we have an issue with it. We might not, though. Sanctuary Warden, and we're going to try to go right into the draw off of it. Because I don't think we need the double shield counters. 1 shield counter is totally fine for now. Just like restocking this hand against control is more essential, I would say. It's super weird we haven't seen more control, right? Maybe we'll start seeing more control now. It just like in general. Because like control has the tools it needs to survive a few turns against mono red, right? I believe so. Ooh, Cogwork Wrestler is actually not terrible, is it? I don't want to use the map token. I'd rather flash this out on their turn, potentially. And at this point, we're so far into the game that they just want to go for the win condition of Jace milling. So the second Jace in hand's really good for them, but we'll see what ends up happening on their turn here. Because we go Steel Seraph, if we can give some vigilance to the Warden so that way it doesn't get picked up by an exile on... Okay. Bring it down to a 2/5 so we can't kill the Thopter, and then we would lose the shield counter with the block, so we probably just take 1, drop Wrestler, right? Oh, they're going to keep it as a blocker in and of itself, though, actually. More creatures on the board? I guess so. I guess so, right? So do we want to consider 27 mana, guys? Very, very mana hungry deck. You really realistically want to be playing a mana every turn. Like, see, more planes, I'm not even upset about it, like, at all. Warden's just perfect block here with the Thopter. So if we go Soul Partition, try to take out the Jace with a full swing, there's a chance that they do end up dropping that Wandering Emperor on the Warden. If we draw off of the Warden here, we go Okay, Steel Seraph as prototype to make sure we have enough mana open for Soul Partition and the Investigator if we decide, well, we might want to play around a board wipe, guys. Maybe I should have went full power Steel Seraph then, right? All right, Soul Partition before combat. One, two, three. So if, like, do we want to play a 3-mana card? We have 3. Negate actually comes down here. Is really good for them. At that point, I'm still going to go for the draw then. Because we don't have enough to power up Anchorage now. I'm still going to go for the draw here off the Warden, unfortunately. Jace is a problem. We're going to go Vigilance on Warden. If we full swing, it's only going to be 3. 2 where the block is. That's a problem. Maybe I should have attempted Map Token to get the Warden up to 3 too. Because now it's not a full swing. Now we just awkwardly keep everything else back. Because if they block here... No, full swing at Jace still. Because what ends up happening is we get that bottom -X ability a little bit lower. More mana, not terrible. Going a little bit more wide here too. See, we're going to lose the shield counter anyways from the block. And then Jace goes down to 2. But if we would have attempted the map token first, we would have just seen an island, but potentially would have been able to get rid of the Thopter had we seen something different. I'm going to keep everything else in hand and I suppose use the map token just to see what's on top, maybe filter out a land that we don't want to see. I'm going to put this onto the Cogwork Wrestler, I'd say. How you guys feel about that? Surprisingly, feels like anyone's game, huh? No more lies. That's probably not going to do it. They have way too much mana, huh? And we're not drawing it right now anyways. If we were drawing it, maybe I would have put it into hand since we have 2 mana. Because maybe they drop something huge and we're just like, aha. But also they would know that we had it too, so. So they could go minus on Jace and then play the other Jace. Depopulate lands and devastates our board, especially now that the shield counters were gone. Oh no, guys. All right, so if we attempt... first of all, Vindicator, really good draw there. If we attempt Vindicator, like the disguise version of this, we might be able to restock our hand really well. And like I said, the opponent's going to go for the mill victory. Restless Anchorage doesn't hit the Jace. We could take care of it a little bit, I suppose. Thinking opponent, I apologize. It's probably attempt swing first, right? I think so. I think so. And we'll have 4 open. We probably play the other Restless Anchorage. Like, look, they only have 1 card that we don't know about in hand. Like, they're slowly but surely fizzling out over there, using everything that they have. Is it gonna be something, though? It looks like it's removal. Get lost. Brutal stuff, man. Okay. Well, that's gonna happen. And we would lose that mana as the phases go, right? So now we're gonna go Restless, and we are going to attempt. So if we go face down, it still has Ward 2 anyways. And we might as well attempt one of the map tokens too, while we have this open mana. Investigator. Number 2. Okay, I think just like keeping anything on top is totally fine. We don't want to send more because we don't know when that mill's going to end up killing us. Because they have -9 here. And then -15 here. So like they're really, really close, man. That they go plus on Jace and target this. They pay 2 for the ward. They're just going to go -2 for the mill right now. Draw a card. Down to 27 cards in the deck, guys. I'm on the edge of my seat. This is a really good game. More mana. So what do we do here? We go X is 2 at least. Pay 6. Grab Sanctuary Warden back in the Ezrim too. When this dies, of course. We're going to turn face up. X is 2. 1, 2. 1, 2 open, right? So cards in our grave. We're going to grab Warden and Ezrim. And now when the Vindicator leaves the board, those will go back to our hand. Reopen. We got to take care of that Jace, period. So let's do that. Get that swing. See what happens here. Is it going to be like another smite? I mean, they have the ward cost. It's going to be an Elspeth smite, actually, guys. Holy cow. The opponent's deck is really, really stocked to do the thing. And I actually think that the smite is an excellent addition for the opponent. Okay, let's get Investigator down. Even though I don't think we're going to be investigating anytime soon, I think we're going to want to try a 6-mana Steel Seraph when it comes time. Elspeth Smite as a 3 of, totally, it might be a 4 of if they're seeing enough mono red for real, dude. So, with 26 cards remaining, when are the Jace gonna wrap this up for them? Yeah, so they have less cards in hand than us. Soul Partition could be good when they play the second Jace, right? We'll just play it for more when it comes time, I suppose. Is it going to be Sanctuary Warden before the agency? Probably. Investigator not swinging well here. These Jaces are a problem. Guys, there's so many little things. You'll have to let me know in the comments for sure if you're thinking that I played this out efficient enough here. Still, the fact that we're up against Control, and Control is really doing a thing, I just feel like... Oh. Whew, I almost missed this. Restless Anchorage, dude. Let's swing at that Jace. For real. For real, man. Let's take this Jace out of the equation. Come on, Anchorage. Hit your mark, buddy. Come on. No, what is it? Wandering Emperor. Oh no. Okay. Dude, we have the biggest uphill climb to get over here. The Wandering Emperor still able to clean up the Warden. Wait, we can give it Vigilance with Steel Seraph. The first thing we got to do, clean up the Jace. The big problem here is they go -2. They know Jace is probably going to die depending on their draw here too. It's a land. Thank goodness, dude. Thank goodness they finally missed. Oh, I guess they have so much mana. They're just like, look at me. Look what I can do. What a counter on my Restless Anchorage. I like it. I like it, opponent. That's good. I mean, that's definitely the most efficient thing they can do with all this extra mana. So the good news is we're going to clean these up. So I think they want to go -2 on the Jace, draw a card. And they probably wanted to do that first to see what's in hand, just in case they wanted all that extra mana, right? So they probably wanted to go draw on the Jace first. Get us down to 21. Any draw on the Warden could be particularly bad for us too. They're thinking, like, if we go plus on the Jace, we put this on the Investigator, they only take out one of our Planeswalkers. Actually, that is very much the case. If they go plus on the Investigator, we'd only hit one Planeswalker. They do decide the mill is worthwhile. See the top card. Holy cow, dude. We're 49 minutes into this video, man. I was not expecting the games to take this long, huh? We still don't get the Investigate here, unfortunately. Errant and Giada. I am a little concerned about drawing when we know that second Jace could come down and mill us for 5 at any time. The second Jace is going to have to get picked up by the Soul Partition. Wait, they get to activate this first though, right? Yeah, they totally get to activate that and then our Soul Partition would happen. Dude, we're in trouble, but like what on earth do we do? We're going to try Investigator at Wandering Emperor. We're going to try Warden at face. I am scared to draw here. I'm going to go full power Steel Seraph. That's a 5/4, man. Maybe the Ezrim's better, but at any point they could draw another board wipe, which I feel like they just haven't drawn too many anyways. We can totally do 1 map token and see what happens here. And keep 3 open for Errant and Giada or the Soul Partition. Giada, Font of Hope on top. We're going to keep that on top. Okay. So how we want to do this is if they have removal for one of the little guys. So first of all, Vigilance on the Warden, I would say. And if they have removal for one of the little guys, we want to go ahead and swing both of these at Emperor to make sure that dies. Swing 5 to face. Shield counter draw? Probably not. I think we're declining this. Because they showed that they have depopulates. Holy cow, guys. We're actually getting damage through finally. What a wild time, huh? Okay, 2 cards open, passing it back. Yeah, they showed they have to populate, so the shield counter could be huge for us. Deduce, more draws. Okay. And they could totally activate that. Quick study, more draws, dude. And they still could activate the clue. Mana has 25 cards remaining too. What a match, guys. Holy cow. I don't know who this is leaning towards at all because they probably drew into a board wipe at this point. And if it's Sunfall, I guess it's leaning back towards the opponent if it's Sunfall, right? Because that gets around the Sanctuary Warden shield counter. We could Soul Partition our Sanctuary Warden, though. That's an option. Would protection on that be better? Could be Jace. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, guys. It's going to be Jason to Jace, isn't it? I think I get a vibe here. Well, maybe not. They're taking a second. I was going to say, if they have triple Jace. Oh, no. Wait, could I have done Soul Partition? I don't think so. Right? Guys, hold up. Could I have done that before they did the -5 and I just misplayed? Well, let's see. If they play a second Jace, or the third Jace, then we'll find out. Right? Then I'll try it. Oh, guys. They have Restless Anchorage open. Guys. Errant and Giada? 3, 4, 5. 14, 16 on the board. We do investigate here successfully. Vindicator comes to hand. Guys. 16 on the board. They have 1 block in the air. We go Vigilance onto... It's got to be like another Wandering Emperor. Soul Partition hits the Anchorage. If that's all they got, we got lethal on the board. I'm going to keep these for the Ezrim just in case. These two have Vigilance already. I'm going to give Vigilance to the Steel Seraph. Oh no, Sanctuary Warden doesn't have Vigilance. I just made an oopsie-daisies. Well, hopefully it's not a Wandering Emperor then, because hitting that Sanctuary Warden would be really good for them. Let's see what happens. If it's only the Restless Anchorage. Oh no, non-land permanent. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not even thinking. We can't successfully take the draw when we're this low on cards. And it's only a plains anyways. Wandering Emperor hits that Sanctuary Warden, man. Brutal stuff. I should have given that Vigilance for sure. I'm home. Dude, oh man, now I'm just butchering the end of this game. Crap. Okay, hold on. They can still power that up. And Soul Partition's non-land. If we did Soul Partition on top of this, they activate abilities at instant speed on the turn she comes down, so she would have been able to do that right away. A 3/4 blocks the 2/3 really well. Opponent controlled us so beautifully, man. At what point in this game should we have conceded and went into one more? I'm not really sure, because there were a lot of moments to see that's a land, so we can only hit Wandering Emperor, and then they easily play it. I just feel like there were a lot of moments here where I think we could have leaned this towards us quite successfully. And not putting that Vigilance on our key player is really rough, man. Really something I just should have never done. We're just going to play it all out. If it's a board wipe, it is what it is, huh? Because being at 9... Wait a minute. With 4 remaining, they might not get this mill. We might be okay for one more turn. I am, in fact, still going to play around a board wipe. As funny as that is, huh? And keep the Soul Partition open as well. I was going to say we could play this at 3, keep Soul Partition open. But then if it is going to be a board wipe, then that would be pretty rough. So the big thing here at the end of the game was Vigilance for the one thing that could actually get around the Depopulate. If they had Depopulate number 2, of course. It still doesn't get around a Sunfall. So if it's just Sunfall, then we weren't really punished for that play regardless. Temporary Lockdown actually ends up getting rid of all of our clues. So I suppose we go ahead and give this hexproof while we can. It actually picks up the Investigator too. It does not hit the Steel Seraph though. So again, if that's it, if only we had something for their land. A hexproof, right? If we go Soul Partition into the Investigator, Soul Partition into Temporary Lockdown, that doesn't seem great either. Drawing on Clue. I think we need as many turns as possible, guys. I don't think we can draw here successfully. Investigator doesn't get picked up. Guys, what? It's like I've never played Magic before. Wait, exile each non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. They're thinking, that's all good, opponent, man. It's all good. We're 57 minutes in. Looks like we're going to push this one over an hour long. Totally worth it for such a terrific match so far. They go power up Restless Anchorage. And instead of tapping it down, they're going to put that counter onto it. Which at that point, did we want to remove Emperor? Probably not. This Soul Partition could still hit something valuable. They want to make sure they block there. That they're gonna have it. Soul Partition hitting non-land permanents is actually really rough right now for us. So hitting Wandering Emperor this turn, we just don't want them to be able to recast it. That's the problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, easily recasts. Lifelink hexproof Vigilance. So their Anchorage is going to be enough. We're not going to investigate here because they only have 1 card in hand. We knew that we're drawing the land. So we have Steel Seraph. Vigilance to the Ezrim. Off the Seraph, right? Swing Investigator to Wandering Emperor if they block there. We full swing at face. They're forced to block here. So we want to keep the Ezrim alive as long as possible. Correct? So we go Vigilance in case they have another Wandering Emperor chilling in hand. So we go UU to face. That threatens lethal. And we get the Wandering Emperor off the board. So it comes down to their last card in hand if they have something good here. The temporary lockdown really worked out for them now that we can't give hexproof to the Ezrim, right? They could easily just remove it with something else now. Although we could always sacrifice Steel Seraph, I'm not convinced that that would be a great play. And we could protect our own things with the Soul Partition, which I don't want to forget about either. So they block here, get rid of the Anchorage, take 5 to face. Dude, how long have we been on the edge of our seat right now? Oh, they have something in hand? Their last card. It's something, guys. It's still something. They go for the protection. of the Wandering Emperor and take 10 to face, so it must be removal. Soaring City. Oh no. Okay, if we protect Investigator... Wait. No, we're just going to be... 5, they have the Wandering Emperor. Okay, down to 4. Okay, Vindicator has to come down as a face-down card for the turn. And we have enough to grab from the grave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if we play Steel Seraph for the turn, we still have 5 to grab 1 back from the grave. So that'll be enough to potentially protect the Ezrim. We have Soul Partition open. Come on, guys. Opponent, what's that top card, buddy? What's that top card? See, they don't have the -2 on the Wandering Emperor. So Soul Partition still just sticking around in case of an emergency. Looks like they're going to go for the buff on the Emperor. And if a full swing to the opponent's face, if they still have 1 piece of removal in hand, if that's what they draw, then they still end up surviving, because the Soul Partition just doesn't get rid of the Restless Anchorage. And then at that point, as a 5/6, it blocks the Ezrim really, really well too. So whatever we grab back from our hand, it's got to be something terrific here. And I don't know what it would be to actually push this last bit of damage through. See, because we could have played Steel Seraph as a 5/4 and potentially... Oh, that's it. Holy cow, dude, what a match. I wonder how long this game has actually been going on for, too. Okay, let's turn it face up. X is... Actually, do it on our turn instead. Maybe Soul Partition. We want to keep this available, right? We do it on our turn instead, see what's on top. No More Lies. That could be really good for us, huh? So full swing opponent's face, put Vigilance on the Ezrim, see what they do, right? Totally fine. Vigilance on Ezrim. They block that, though, for sure. 5/6. They block the 5/5 for sure. So maybe if I put Vigilance elsewhere, and if it is like another Wandering Emperor. Dude, this is like the toughest decisions I've had in a match in a long while, man. And we've had some seriously tough matches in the recent weeks. But like, this game has gone on for so long that I have no idea where I'm missing value, like, at all. You know what I mean? Because we could have flipped the face down card early and grabbed like another Steel Seraph out of our grave, played the other Steel Seraph, given Vigilance to more. Vigilance, lifelink, hexproof. Okay. Is now the time to flip this? Because that's their blockers. I think we flipped this. X is like 4, right? Keep 2 open for the... oh, X is 5. Would have kept 2 open. Oh, we can pick up the Anchorage with it, guys. I'm being silly, bro. All right, what do we want to pick up here? What else do we want to pick up here? Another Vindicator. Flash, you... A Giada, another Steel Seraph probably, right? Guys, we could have done that before the block, right? Because it's any time, it's instant speed. So now if their last card in hand, first of all, this is potentially 7 going through. If they want to take out the 4 here that's going through, then they got to pay the ward, and then they got to pay the No More Lies. So 1, 2, they got to pay the ward. They got to pay the No More Lies. No, they have it, don't they? They have it, guys. They have it, bro. No. Guys, they have it. Hordlock Whale. Do we still attempt the No More Lies anyways? Just to make them pay more mana? What a time, dude. I can't believe the opponent's still hitting more. And then they got to pay the ward too, so they completely tap out. Oh, they still would have had it from the Restless Anchorage as well. So we lose the Ezrim. Vindicator on top, I suppose we keep. On top, right? From the Hornblock Whale. They take 3 here. Guys, this is 110% my fault, but the exile still happens. I did not know that was going to happen. All right, Apata, let's see that top card, buddy. Holy cow. Holy cow, dude. You see, like, my brain is just, like, slowly melting from this long match, too. Like, this is why I play aggro, dude. Holy cow. Because they have the exile on the Steel Seraph, so they gain a little bit of life there. This comes in tapped on our turn, so they want to play it on this turn. So whatever comes down to on, like, the top card of the deck, like, for real, now we don't have Soul Partition open too, so maybe as they try to exile Steel Seraph, we sacrifice it to the Ezrim, give hexproof, but then on the stack of the hexproof, they can play, like, instant speed removal. Like, there's just, like, there's too much, man. And, like, the opponents are hitting every single turn something that they need. Let's see it. Let's see it, huh? We might be able to stop that. Either way, the exile's happening, so we better try this and go for hexproof. Hopefully, the only thing that's holding them up right now is the flash on the Hornblocked Whale. They flash that in on their turn. Let's go hexproof. Hornblocked Whale. Is this it? Is this it? Guys, let's try it. Get that swing. Guys, send help. Come on, man. There's no way. There's no way there's still something. Guys? No. Get out of here, opponent. There's no way. Oh, good game? Oh, it's an Elspeth Smite. Dude, good game, opponent. Holy cow. We got there. 1 hour, 6 minutes, my longest video ever. There's no way. There's no way it's not 40-minute game. that had to have been leaning towards the opponent most of the time. And then I was losing a lot of value in that mid to late game, or mostly just the late game. 30 minutes of that game was the late game. So, like, I started losing value here and there, little nuanced things, little things like not expecting the opponent to continuously have stuff, kept having me lose a lot of value, like losing the depopulate for the Sanctuary Warden the first time around, right? So, like, the shield could have protected that, but then also not giving vigilance to the Sanctuary Warden because then the Wandering Emperor came down and took care of it even without the shield counter. Here's the deck list again, guys. Not going to say too much because we are very, very far into the video, but if you guys did make it this far, for real, y'all are champions. I hope you enjoyed that longer game, hopefully, right? It was great to get that victory at the end. If I would have played it more effectively, I think we could have pulled off that victory a little bit sooner too. Really neat cards in here. I actually think that the Vindicator was really sick in that late game. We saw how valuable that actually was. Did we see our Wandering Emperor today? I don't even think so. No More Lies missed its mark for us like every time, but for the opponents, huh? It really did a thing. So I think it's totally worth it having in here too. The Wrestler was kind of sort of fine, right? Giada didn't get to stick on the board very often. Outside of that, I liked it. Guys, let me know what you would add or take out down in the comments. Oh, the 4 Restless Anchorage. Sure, the tap lands held us up once in a while, but also, like, the extra map tokens go the extra mile for the Ezrim too, so that really ended up working out nicely. Should we go up to 27 mana? Good question. Let me know in the comments, right? Kind of felt like we had 22 land in here sometimes, even though we actually have 26, but I think that's just Magic the Gathering. Okay, guys. Hey, make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link as well as that Patreon link too. If you want to support the channel that way, right? Okay, guys. Hey, I will see you in the next video.